Australians and twice against Bahrain. They sit on 2 points in the group, with the Bahrainis on 1 point, Thailand of course on 3 points, the Australians also on 1. So win tonight will take Thailand through to the next stage. They know that coming into this match, and that's the reason why Akira Nishino has put out his strongest lineup, hoping that his final match will be scratched and he can put the fringe players in to gain some playing time, leading to the quarterfinals, of which they've never tasted in the AFC Under-23 Championships. Big chance here tonight then for the likes of Anon, who scored the first goal by ramming it into the back of the net, and the Australians who have shown as well that they have their very own star striker in D'Agostino, very much built in the same ilk as Andy Carroll, the same style in terms of the hair, the beard, and as well as the muscles on his body. Very good in the air as well. He does have that long throw as a weapon, but more importantly, he has that eye for a goal, as we saw just the one chance, and he slid it into the back of the net after the pass from Piscopo. The Australians make one change to the start of the second half. Denis Jeanroux, player who was born in France, comes on. Keanu Bacchus comes on as well for Laws. Is it Jeanroux coming on, but not Bacchus? We will give you confirmation of that in a while. It might be a graphics error then. But Denis Jeanroux is certainly on. The number 10, who is a creative player and has a real eye for a pass. Might be a big danger here for the Thais, who are rampant in midfield and really forcing the Australians to kick the ball out. That's Jeanroux with his first touch of the ball, and that's what he's all about, just trying to stitch up play in the center of the pitch, making sure that these short passes are played to keep the impetus of attacks going. Sorowitz does likewise for Thailand. Thititon, who had an outstanding first half, trying to combine with Supachok, who has been drifting all over the place and given Zach Duncan such a hard time, at least in trying to catch up and keep up with him. Thititon. He didn't really have this sort of game as he did against Bahrain. That first half, it was just flashy from him so many times. He just showed up and did things that even magicians would dream of. Kritsada, side by side with him is Shinafat. He uses his captain, the man who scored the opening goal in the qualifiers against Indonesia. Shinafat Liao. The Thais lost the one game to Vietnam by 4-0. In fact, Akira Nishino is saying that they were lucky to be hosting this event, because if it had been a straight-out qualifying campaign for the Thais, they wouldn't even have made it for the AFC Under-23. So grateful to be here because of hosting rights. Let's take full advantage of it, of which you'd have to say they have certainly done. Supachok's allowed that to run quite brilliantly to his brother Sufanat. He's continued his run. Sufanat took some time before he looked up and spotted him. So here is Supachok. He's eluding one challenge, not the other. Sorowitz always there to mop things up with a quite exquisite pass. Yet again finding Thititon. Sufanat inside to Anon. Got it down first time, but the ball just hit at him at 100 miles an hour. So too much sugar behind it. And couldn't really take it in his mid-drift to create any sort of an opportunity there for himself or a teammate. Thititon, Sufanat. Well, at times it was very much a frenzy in that first half, and very hectic for the Thais. And that's the reason why Akira Nishino probably has asked them just to slow things down a little bit at the start of the second half and get some measure of control of the game. Ping the ball around, get your teammates involved, get everybody's boots warm. And then find that opening when it arises. Not to go at such a frenzied pace that even they couldn't. Well, they've burst the lines pretty well for this latest attack now. Thititon trying to look for the angle for the cross. It's well defended by Deng. just close the angle down straight away. Superchok. Kritada saying go back to Sorowit, of which he does. Here's Titaton. Superchok's shown. Across though, lacking any sort of height. It's almost the perfect ball that was played through then. Great tackle by Michok on Piscopo. Here is Sufanat, abandoning his left-sided position just to get involved because he lost the ball. Kritada always protecting the back line with all the jealousy in the world. Surely that's going to be a free kick. The referee waited until there was no advantage to the Thais before giving it. Jean-Ro, the challenge that came right through. Plays for Melbourne City, of course, Denis Jean-Ro. He's got a goal in the FA Cup this season and one for the under-23s as well when they played against Luçon, Qatari club. This is almost the most lukewarm part of the game so far. There is control. So because of that midfield battle being on, not a lot of goal-scoring opportunities. It's almost the lull in a game that has given us so many chances already, isn't it? 5 minutes into the first half. But once you've been spoiled by almost end-to-end stuff, especially from the Thais in the first half, this seems very lightweight. Don't know what the referee is talking about right now. Might have been offside in the build-up to this, but once again they turn to VAR. And there was almost no need to. Superchai desperately wants to get involved. That's the reason why he's dropped from his centre-forward position. He's almost bored there, just occupying the centre-backs. He's decided to go wide to try to influence Mattis a little bit. Nishino won't be too happy as well with that ball that was pinged too direct. Graham Arnold won't be too happy with his goalkeeper's kicking today. Another dodgy one from Glover. Michok to take the throw for Thailand. Finally, Kritada calls claim, and it's easily picked up by Jean-Ro. And he's brought in just to ensure that there's a bit of stability in the middle of the park, which Laws didn't provide the Australians. And the Thais came at them. He was giving the ball away far too frequently and far too easily. And Zach Duncan, who is usually the man who goes box to box with those lung-bursting runs, makes a typical one through the heart. Be taken out by Sarikan Promsupa. Free kick in a dangerous position now for Australia. They scored late in the first half. Can they score early in the second? We've all seen how dangerous D'Agostino can be in the air, so he will be one of the targets. Surely Murakutis as well, all 1.88 meters of him, going right inside the penalty box, just to be a real nuisance here for Korafat and gang. Jean-Ro to take this. Graham Arnold senses something here. "142 minutes of football. The Thais haven't trailed yet at the AFC Under-23 Championships. Might this be the time now? It is swung in. It is very deep. It's gone through everyone. But Dylan Ryan couldn't provide the finish. Came off him more than him attacking the ball. Sorowitz, space opening up here. There's only one up front though, and that's Anon. Sufanat decides to go for goal himself. He was hoping that it was a shot come cross. There would be someone at the end of it. Superchai was very deep in his own half trying to defend this, and then sprints right up front. Deng More measured from the Australians at the start of the second half. Very much the same way they started the match in the opening 15 minutes before Thailand were let loose and flew out of the gates. Space opening up inside the penalty box yet again for D'Agostino. Shot is on for Jean Rowe, decides to just play it around Piscopo. So asks for the ball back. Here he is, Piscopo, Jean Rowe. Look at the space opening up here for Gersbach. Very deep cross. Oh, they've asked for handball. So very, very weak and meek appeals. Supachai Jaided went through a couple of challenges, but not the third. That was Piscopo. Jean Rowe, Gersbach. We haven't seen much of him as an overlapping fullback in this match or this tournament. So finally saw glimpses of it in the last minute. Graham Arnold will be pretty happy with the way his team started. Another one of those coaches who's had all the awards come his way domestically. Three-time A-League Coach of the Year, Graham Arnold. Two-time assistant coach, of course, for the Australians. Two-time interim coach for the national side. This is not good news for the Thais with Sufanat Muantai. He's gripping his knee. The signal is that everything's okay. And he just needs some repairs and maintenance work. He has been bright and pretty sprightly so far, but we haven't seen much of Sufanat Muantai yet. So we certainly saw a glimpse of him and what he can provide, and the reason why Graham Arnold's decided to include Nick D'Agostino in the team ahead of Toure. It's just one chance, that's all he had. He gobbled it up. They do have Toure to call from the bench, the Australians. And the Thais have got Jaroensak, a player who came on and scored 2 goals against Bahrain after replacing Sufanat. Loads of space opening up. Here is Sufanat, back fit again. Titatan, another disappointing cross. Wasn't the best of clearances, so Supachok deciding to take a real spank of the ball and came off a defender. Michok's got to watch this, and he played it diligently and very intelligently to Charing Khan. Titatan continues staying up there, almost found its way through to Supachai. Titatan, that's a dangerous ball. On the blind side, and D'Agostino just stole in. Charing Khan just in front of him. It's very good covering by Sorowit. Jean Rowe. Shinafat just preventing the ball from getting forward. Players in the box waiting for a good delivery. It almost was from Italiano. Oh, actually it came from D'Agostino looking for Italiano. Corner Australia. Will this pressure be sustained in the second 45 minutes? It wasn't in the first. Thailand just got to soak it up now and then find ways to unlock this Australian defense again, knowing that they have already done that on numerous occasions in the first half. Titatan, totally nowhere to run, no room at all. Thomas Dane just managing to get the ball away from Sufanat. Just hasn't worked out for the teenage assassin. The Thais profiting from yet another loose pass by the Australians in the midfield area. Charing Khan, Titatan, Sufanat, brilliant ball. It's kept alive as well by a quite brilliant pass out to Anon. Great defending by Gersbach. Kritsada. Anon, goal scorer. Surrounded by the golden jerseys of the Olyroos. Charinkan. Sufanat. Gets the ball back from Titaton. Sorowit. Just seems to just walk through matches, doesn't he? Well, the shot is on. Kritsada, the crowd encouraged him to take it, but he didn't. Supachok, yet again, no way through this Australian backline. They're forced to be very patient here, the Thais. But the good news is they are prepared to be. Just finding that perfect ball to play right through the defense and take some running off the ball from the front men. The Australians trying to push up and play a very high line, and this one's in the end running short of patience. The Thais and Nishino wouldn't be too happy with that. Everything was going great until that cross-field pass that was put out by Shinafat, looking for Supachok. On the hour mark. Still 1-1 as Gersbach is trying to steal yards on this throw. Shinafat almost giving the ball away. They come away with it. Michok didn't want to get involved with that and straight away apologized to the bench for getting too much involved with Shinafat. Korafat. It's easily headed away by Ryan. Oh. That wasn't too nice, was it, from Piscopo? Want to get a complaint to the referee that an elbow was thrown there. And Turkey Mohammed Al-Qadai of Saudi Arabia wants to have a word. Temperamental, isn't he, Piscopo? This is not good news at all. It's the second time that Sufanat has gone down. They need someone with his attacking flair. It's the second time that Supachai has gone down as well. Are they feeling the strain now? The Thais are playing 2 matches in 3 days. All it's put through to Supachok. Still Supachok. Skied it. Just a glimpse, just a glimpse. And usually that's all he needs. This time though, he went right underneath it after finding space against Motokutis. Replacement upcoming for the Thais. Nantawat Songkiao. Ready to come on. He is a centre forward, an out-and-out centre forward, which might mean Supachai going out wide to take the place that Sufanat is at, because I don't think Sufanat can continue. And then Nantanat Swangkiao will take the place of Supachai right up front. Well, he's actually taking the place of Supachai and not Sufanat, so it's a straightforward swap. Supachai must really be hurt for him to be taken out.
Substitution for Thailand. Player number 9, Supachai Jaidet, replaced by player number 19.
Well, they've signaled to the bench that Sufanat can't continue as well. And his replacement in the last match is Jarawansak. So I think that he has been summoned as well. Anon will take Sufanat's position for the time being. Just need to hang on here, the Thais. The Australians raiding. Arnold wants them to play a little bit more before playing that long ball. They've been guilty of doing that a couple of times already in this match. Nantawat's first very good one. His second, he couldn't complete it and control it. Gersbach just slightly behind, and in the end, Kritsada almost helping out the Australians, not getting too involved before sliding in with the challenge, which thrilled the crowd. You love to see a battle, don't they? And here comes Charoensak.
Player number 17, Supanat Muenta, depressed by player number 13, Charoensak. ทีมชาติไทยขอเปลี่ยนตัวผู้เล่นโดยเปลี่ยนผู้เล่นหมายเลข 17
D'Agostino comes all the way to take this throw.
ส่งผู้เล่นหมายเลข 13
Oh, with those two replacements and those two star strikers taken out from Thailand, the Australians now sense something. Might feel that the ties might be rattled. Might be a good time to actually just heave this one in and put some doubt into the Thai back line. It's Nantawat who comes out with a saving tackle and intervention. Charoensak ensuring that Thomas Deng goes backwards. Ryan, touch on was from Jean-Ro, by Episcopo, I should say. Surely that's going to be a foul. They've looked at the referee, but the referee says play on. A chance to run at them from Italiano. It goes all the way out to Gersbach. Couldn't get the cross in after some diligent work by Michok. Well, it's been all Australia in the second half. They seek the goal and the 3 points that'll take them ahead of Thailand in the table and put them in prime position to qualify for the next stage. Something which they haven't done since the inaugural tournament in 2014. Thomas Deng runs right across. This one's gone so deep. It's on target from Bowman, but just not enough sugar behind that header. And Korofats was watching the ball track all the way through. Yet again, though, stifling from the Australians in terms of the press. Duncan's looked a new player since he's had extra support from Jean-Ro in the second half. Just bursting forward at every given opportunity. And here was the chance. Bowman got it on target. There was help behind as well, which he ignored. Nantawat trying to chase this one down. Glover hasn't done too well with his kicks, but that was a brilliant one. Speared right through. What's the referee given now? Australia are going to make their second substitution. Oh, that's handball. Gersbach. Good spot by the referee.
Substitution for Australia.
Toure comes on.
Player number 19, Daniel Bowman, depressed by
Hardly had a sniff in the first game. He's been in very good goal-scoring form, scoring on his debut against the Chinese and then scoring against South Korea in a friendly just a week before the tournament. They're playing with two centre forwards. The Australians certainly feeling it now. Momentum on their side, and they're trying to just shut this one off. Deng. Morakutas looking for Toure. Way too long. A draw wouldn't be the worst result for Nishino, of course. I mean, you'd love to qualify after this. You'd love to just go through to the quarterfinals after this match. But the big problem for them and the danger is that will their two players up front, their two star players, Supanat and Supachai, actually be fit enough to play in their final group game against Iraq in 3 days from now? Nantawat does well to win that one in the air. Michok coming storming in with a header. Glover just putting laces through the ball. Smacked right into the chest of D'Agostino. Sorowitz was marching the ball all the way, but we'll get a yellow card for that. That was a very high boot from Sorowitz. The Thais need the crowd to just get going a little bit because it's gone a little quiet here at the Raja Mangala Stadium.
Yellow card for number 16, Sorowitz from Thailand. ผู้เล่นหมายเลข 16 Sorowitz ของทีมชาติไทยได้รับใบเหลือง
That was a real knock from Sorowitz. Huge difference first and second half. Just controlled matters and controlled the midfield in the first half, and you'd have to say very well done indeed to Graham Arnold. I think you saw that Joshua Laws was really struggling in the first half to try to keep up with the Thais. We're outrunning them at the center of the pitch, especially Sorowitz. So he decided to bring on more assured passer of the ball and real axis of the team in the shape of Donny Jeanreau. And he has made a huge difference. We haven't seen much of Jaro Ansak yet. D'Agostino is made of steel. We've seen that already. And he gets up from that very high kick into the face from Sorowitz. "20 minutes remaining." Titaton, another one of those players that we haven't seen much of moving forward. This has been all about defending in the second half. Super Chalk took that one brilliantly. Great cushion from him. Jaro Ansak. Michok. Breaks to Anon. The shot will come in, should come in from Sorowitz. He tried to do too much in the end. Might have done better if he had just produced a shot and pulled the trigger instead of hanging on to it. Toure versus Korafat, who came and had to get any sort of contact on the ball, which he did. Piscopo. Nantawat closing that one down. Not the best of touches, though. That certainly was from Sorowitz. And a brilliant ball that was just a little too hard for Super Chok. Sarin Khan could have let that one go for his goalkeeper. Decided to take any chances, and would be very grateful that Toure wasn't following up for the Australians. Morakutas certainly towers above his opponents, especially now that Supachai Jaidet is gone, but it's on the ground that he can be had. Jaro Ansak, Titaton, Oksomsri, all the way back to Sarin Khan. Titaton. Jaro Ansak, great work by Deng. Anticipated that very well. Titaton comes storming in with that challenge on Italiano. We talked about the Australians and the Thais meeting at the ASEAN Football Federation age group levels. Jacob Italiano was very much part of the 2016 under-16 side that drew 3-3 with Thailand in the semi-finals. Most of this team as well played in the under-16 team against Thailand in 2015, and the Thais won 3-2 in the semi-finals. So they have met each other before, but never on the AFC levels. It's very good from Jaro Ansak. Not the best of passes, though, from Shinafat. It's kept alive, barely. Kritsara will have to run back now. He looks pretty tired. That's going to be offside. It has to be offside. No, the referee doesn't flag. Piscopo! Straight at the goalkeeper. If he had continued down that left-hand side. He might have opened the angle up, but he didn't trust his left foot, so he cut inside. And there was enough of a shadow coming from Shinafat Liao to make his shot a little more difficult and make him stretch and shoot. That took away the power and safely and gleefully into the arms of Korafat, the goalkeeper. Michok told not to steal any more yards. Piscopo, it's pretty easy against Michok, who gambled and lost out on it, but Shinafat at least was there covering. This is intriguing stuff, isn't it? We haven't had the same end-to-end free-flowing football as we did in the first half, but it's nail-biting moments. You don't know what's going to happen. Thomas Deng. Duncan. Gersbach. Jean-Ro. Duncan. D'Agostino. Australians have kept the ball very well here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to announce.
And that's brilliant from Piscopo. Gersbach! Superb goal! It's that man again, the fox in a box, D'Agostino. He profits, but the build-up to that was mouth-watering. The Olyroos ahead, Thailand behind for the first time in this tournament. They can't hold on. Yet again, the genius of Piscopo with that little flick right through to Gersbach, and D'Agostino with time and space in the penalty box. There was only going to be one outcome. Every time he plays, he scores. He did it twice against South Korea in the qualifiers. And he's done it here again in his first start of the AFC Under-23 Championships 2020 in Bangkok. And after 3 winless matches, Australia on their way now in the AFC Under-23s to securing a victory against the Thais. Surely there doesn't need to be a check on that. The Thais are prepared to kick off already. They know the outcome. They trail 2-1. And 2 of their star strikers are out of the pitch. Both injured, Supachai and Sufanat. What started out bright and sunny for the Thais has just turned darker than the night. Great character shown by the Australians, you have to say. And now, what does Nishino's boys have in terms of their character? Supachok getting it back, trying to run through on goal. He was just snuffed out of it, body checked by Merdukatus. Not the best of passes by Michok to Jarawansak, who wanted the ball right on his feet. Gersbach, creator of that second goal, might very well prove to be with the winning goal. And Dylan Ryan ensuring that nothing gets past him. Do the Thais have a trump card now that Supachai is out? They give the ball away again. Great touch by Toure. That was sublime. Piscopo with a chance to run right into the box. Piscopo just behind. Oh, total miss kick there. Toure! The referee's call for handball. It was actually D'Agostino. That was a total miss kick. And then he made it up by setting it up for Toure. Oh, was that handball? Didn't look like it, did it? Well, it did come off his hand. It looked very accidental. He had the awareness, though, to pick out Toure. That could have been his hat-trick very easily. Should have been. The Thais have a lifeline. Deng, Italiano. Couldn't keep it in play. He too tiring very quickly. Titaton couldn't keep it in. Great work by Italiano. Oh, they have the insurance of that win, and they might have to take it to their final game now against Iraq to qualify for the next stage, but at least they have that final match to qualify for the next stage, which was all Nishino wanted at the start of the tournament. Super Chok, well spotted by Deng. Well picked out by Sorawitz. Pass though was anticipated to its max by Ryan, who continues staying up front. Here is Toure, happy to take that challenge. Will it be time now for Rino Piscopo to seal this one for the Australians? From almost the exact same spot where he scored against Iraq on the first day of competition. Lethal with that right boot. Rino Piscopo, the Thais would have seen that from the first day. He's relishing this. See from his eyes, he's getting almost everyone out of the way. Just duck underneath it a little too much. Deng hooking it away. All Thais can't believe it. Sorawit thought that he won that one fair and square against Zach Duncan. So it's gone the way against the Thais. I don't think it was Sorawit's challenge. It was more his teammate who got involved then. Super Chok leading into Duncan that the referee called for. That was a free kick, that's for sure. Michok. Can the Thais summon one last opportunity, at least one last chance and sighting of the Australian goal? That is a brilliant ball played out by Kritsada. Charoensak charged down by Deng. Sorawit! Oh, that had some venom, and it was traveling, but straight into the arms of Tom Glover. His first real save of note in the second half. At least it's woken up the crowd. Graham Arnold's decision to ring the changes justified, and maybe Akira Nishino should have done the same, because his players look as if they're suffering from a huge dose of fatigue here. Might have one last trump card to pull in Warachit Kanitsripumfen, Thailand. Warachit is one of the goal scorers in that famous 5-1 win for the Thais against Australia in the 2016 AFF Under-19 champs. Oh, it's poor defending. Toure couldn't squeeze the shot through. Italiano wasn't too happy that Toure didn't make use of him. Deng, though, intervened with a brilliant sliding challenge. Didn't back it up with a cross, but it's kept alive by D'Agostino. Piscopo. D'Agostino not too far away. Gersbach. Antoat asked to chase. Italiano does well to keep it in play. Zach Duncan asks for the foul. The referee says play on. But they've given it right back to him. Titaton has also looked very tired in the second half. And it's very good defending that time by Sarinkan. Sorawit turn on a spin, wonderful. You can't believe it. It's a substitution that came right on and straight away gets involved. That's first taste of the action by Rami Najarin.
Substitution for Thailand.
Oh, they love him, Warachit. He's had a very distinguished youth career. That's it. Hasn't really been in sparkling form over the last couple of seasons. But that can change if there is a starring performance. So here is Warachit, first touch of the ball. Just to sweep the ball wide, can't find a teammate. Jaroensa couldn't keep it in play from Titaton's a very tired looking pass. I could tell from the body language of the Thais when they conceded the goal just before halftime. Totally deflated. They were dominating the Olyroos before that. And D'Agostino slid in and poked the ball home for 1-1. All slouched, couldn't believe it. And in the second half, very much keeping alive with what they always say about scoring before halftime. It's probably the best time to score because psychologically the Australians just took that into the second 45 minutes. They have really bossed matters, especially in the middle of the park. The Thais guilty of doing what the Australians were doing in the first half, which was giving the ball away cheaply, especially the midfielders. Piscopo. Jean Rose made a huge difference since he's come on. Just being that little rock in front of the defense. Orukutas just managing to get to the ball and contact to the ball before Superchok. Toure is peeled away from the central defenders. Piscopo given time to shape that shot and measure it. Couldn't take advantage of it. Didn't even get a sniff in the first half, but in the second half, so much room to operate for Rino Piscopo. Just a minute remaining. plus whatever time the referee wants to add on. Back to the drawing blocks for Nishino. More worryingly, it might be a board which cannot include the names Sufanat and Supachai for the final match against Iraq. At least they'll go into the match knowing that a draw might do it against Iraq. Unless Bahrain come up with an astounding scoreline against the Australians, I think the draw against Iraq would be good enough to get Thailand through to the quarterfinals. Our crowd have gone very quiet now after all the festivities in the first half when they were just serenading these youngsters. Can't find anything to be inspired by in the second 45 minutes. So that fleeting cheers, hoping that Nantawat will get at the end of that hopeful punt from Sarin Khan. Five added minutes. This might elicit some cheers for the crowd. At the moment, they just can't get the ball. Jean-Ro, Deng, Italiano. It's actually Najarin, I should say. Duncan. Deng, back to Duncan. Game management by the Australians. Just keep the ball, don't do anything silly. Najarin. Kritsana claiming that Najarin is faking it. He will see yellow. It's a couple of times already Kritsana has come in with the stats showing in this game. Finally punished for it. The Australians trying to wind down the clock now. Well, this is pretty disconcerting. The Saudi Arabian referee has just been consulting VAR at almost every decision. Surely with that yellow card that he's given, doesn't need to consult VAR. The Australians break away. Toure, two players in the box waiting for a good delivery. Here is Toure. That is a good delivery. Once again, the hat-trick spurned by D'Agostino. Another poor finish. Najarin couldn't control it. Najarin to the far post. Toure should have finished it. Well, if the Thais sneak something out of this, the Australians only have themselves to blame, because it's a couple of times already D'Agostino been put in very good situations, much tougher than those moments where he actually scored those goals, and he couldn't find any sort of contact with the ball at all. And Toure right in front of goal after Najarin had pulled it back and right across goal brilliantly, couldn't find the finish. So the Thais get out of jail, and they still have 2 minutes to find this equalizer. Charaunsak. Nantawat, was he dragged down? The crowd thought so, the referee didn't. Then again, the referee did. Just hear the Rajamangala now go crazy. This might be it, you know. Dead ball situation. Send players forward. Might be deep, but still, here's your chance. Kritsara come in, too close to the goalkeeper. Way too close to the goalkeeper. Glover, anywhere would do from him. Sarin Khan, not the best of clearances. D'Agostino, happy to find Toure, who I'm sure would find the corner flag. Does even better by winning the corner. Just winding down the clock right now. Nishino will have to plan for Iraq. He was hoping that he'd get his fringe players a run out. He won't be able to do that. He might have to, with a couple of players, to replace Sufanat and Superchai, depending on whether they recover in time for that game. Sufanat's injury especially didn't look too good at all. Superchai might be okay for it. They've got 3 days to recover from the injuries, and more importantly, from this result, which looked pretty positive after 24 minutes when Anon Amon-Lertsak gave them the lead. They couldn't add on to it with missed opportunities from Superchai and Sufanat.